Yes. Welcome back to another podcast. I was going to say vlog, but it's a podcast. Your host, Roiss. Oh man, it is a beautiful day today, people. It's hot. The temperature is 22 degrees, so I am sweating. I have my cloth with me so that I can wipe my face. I do sweat. Just throw that out there. But yeah, I prefer a warm weather and I sweat rather than a winter cold weather and then you get sick. But yeah, today will be a good topic, good day today. Um, I've been having conversations with my other homeboys, my buddies and friends, and this topic came up and nobody ever talks about it. So I'm here going to be talking about it. Couldn't blah 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 blah. You know what I mean? I can't even speak now because it's hot, so it's hard to speak sometimes. All right. So we'll get right into it. And that topic that really interested me is superstition. Like we all do this, right? And that famous saying is knock on wood. So for example, like you wanna when you have a conversation with the people that you're with and you want something to turn out good or great, you always say knock on wood, right? It's the same with me too. Like it's just out of nowhere that we just say that, but we never really truly understand why we say that or how it came about in actually saying that. So yeah, that is the topic. It's interesting because it got my curiosity out. So I'm curious of the origin of that and why it came about and why now that everybody's saying that. So, but then again, what if there is no wood? There's no wood around you, right? What are you gonna say? Oh, knock on metal, knock on plastic, or knock on a piece of cloth. I don't know. See, I'm already wiping myself because it is hot. Um, I closed my window because I don't want any outside noise or ambient noise. I didn't even I turned off my fan to cool me off, but I can deal with some sweating and stuff. But you guys won't notice that because I'm wearing a hat. But I do wipe my face, just like let you guys know. You guys be seeing me like, why is Ruiz sweating so much? I'm just a sweaty guy. I don't sweat on my body, which is good. Like I'm surprised I don't like have like back sweat, chest sweat, a little bit of sweat underneath. But I sweat the most like on my face, which a lot of the people are anyways. But anyways, I'm getting off track and talking about myself and sweat. So let's get back to the superstition. So the saying of knock on wood, I never really looked into that, but I have it on my phone here, so let us read. So knock on wood. It is said in order to avoid bad luck, either when you mention good luck that you have had in the past or when you mention hopes you have for the future. So, when you have conversations with your buddy, with your homeboys or with anybody, and to avoid bad luck, I guess, a lot of people say knock on wood. It's the same thing with me. I say the exact same thing. And what else is there with the superstition? Because there is a lot of superstition in many cultures, not just you know just not just the white community, the black community, Asian community, or other communities. Um, but I notice it deals a lot more with Asians. I've heard that they have a lot of superstition in various countries, and their superstition is different from here, from anywhere else. What I notice with regards of their superstition is the number 13. Have you noticed that, guys? Like when you go to certain buildings, there is no 13th floor. There is no 13th button on an elevator, or there is no 13th room in a hotel or an apartment building. But many buildings do have the 13th floor. Many buildings have 13th room or 13th button on the elevator. It's just, I would say it's half and half, that half of the people do believe in superstition and the other half don't. So I guess that's why they don't put that. Many of the buildings would label us like a 13th floor to a 12B or 12A or 14 or 14A, but you will never see that number 13. But if number 13 is such a is such a bad number, a bad luck number, then why do we have the number 13 on every month of the calendar? And then every year, for some reason, that 13th number falls on a Friday. What makes it a bad luck number? Because to me, I don't consider it as a bad luck. To me, it's just another day. It's just another number. I mean, imagine if you didn't have the number 13. Everything would just look weird. Yeah, and people be counting like from 1 to, let's say, 1 to 20, and then they leave out number 13 and they just jump to 14, or they'll just say, oh, 12, 12A, 12B, and then 14. Nah, it just doesn't make sense. I mean, the number 13 is there for a reason, but let's look into that. So the mystery of the missing 13th floor, or just the number in general, I would say. Wishing everyone luck this Friday, the 13th. I'm just reading off here. The most unlucky of all days. But where did this superstition come from? Why does the number 13 get such a bad rap? That's true. I've always wondered that, why it gets a bad rap. And I literally looked into that, and it literally dates back to, the ancient times. I would say, I don't know if it's the ancient times, but the sources that I'm reading, it's saying it dates back to the time of Jesus Christ, and on the end of the table, which is the 13th disciple, was Judas. So how did they decide for that? Like, oh, Judas is the 13th person, so it's going to be an unlucky number because of what he did that affected everything, and that in that moment, or it affected throughout generations, right? Or maybe it was just handed down through generation to generation that the 13 is an unlucky number. But when you look at it in a different way, number 13 is a lucky number. For example, when you go to the casino, why is number 13 a lucky number when you win the jackpot, right? When you reach the number 13. And I see that. I don't go to a casino myself. I mean, I've seen that when I'm watching YouTube and I see other people go to the casino and they explain like, oh, you got to get a number 13, all 13s to get a jackpot. So yeah, let's look into the missing number 13 more. But there is a long word because a lot of people have the fear of 13, and this long word is in the dictionary. It's called triskaidekaphobia. Wow, that's a long word, triskaidekaphobia. So it's a phobia of the number 13. So that's what people are afraid of. They have a phobia of. I mean, it's just a number. Not unless you always have a bad luck with the number 13, which I don't, because I really don't believe in that. And there's a good handful of people out there that believes in it. And I don't know why people believe in superstition. Now, the origins. There is a connection between insurance and the 13th floor, a coincidental correlation that has nothing to do with risk. The first skyscraper, the home insurance building constructed in Chicago in 1885, was built as the regional headquarters for an insurance company, and it did not have a 13th floor. But then a lot of the buildings has well, I don't know. That's the weird thing. But I don't pay attention to it. What if you have a 13-story high building? Are you not going to include the 13th floor? You're just going to go up to 12 and then 12A or 12B? Right? I mean, we don't know. We don't know. And what else is there that people have superstition about? Walking underneath the ladder. I remember when I worked at a science building. I remember there was a ladder that was propped up against the wall. I guess fixing whatever vent. They had a problem in the vent. But it never really occurred to me when I walked underneath it. Because there was other things on the floor that was obstructing my way of walking, and the only place that I can actually walk into was underneath the ladder. But you know what? Nobody has ever come to me and say, "Oh, you're not supposed to walk underneath the ladder." I don't know if that has died down as opposed to it being a superstition type of thing, or it's just that the fact that nobody cares about it. All right. For me, I didn't think twice about it. I just walked underneath just to get by, just to get through the obstructed area, from away from the mess. But I don't know. Nothing happened to me. Let's just say that, right? Okay, knock on wood. Nothing happened to me. Evidently, I have wood on my desk, so I can knock on wood. If I didn't have wood anywhere, then I would knock on my microphone or my desktop or my TV or whatever. I can make anything, just like people back in the days, nowadays, making up things, and they say knock on wood. If you don't have wood, knock on metal or whatnot. Another one that I was curious about too is black cats. They say that black cats are bad luck, but how many cat lovers are out there that actually have black cats. And I've seen a lot, like when I walk down my neighborhood, I would see a black cat on the window, just chilling, checking out the environment around them. But why do a lot of the people find that black cats are bad luck when actually they're not? You know, they and the thing is, like, you rarely see them. Anyways, you rarely see a black cat roaming around the street. And then if you see one, like, what are you gonna think? That, oh, I see a black cat. I think it's gonna be a bad day today. You know, and things like that. It doesn't really affect me because I don't have a black cat, and I'm more of a dog lover. I don't care about cat much. I mean, I do like cats. They are cute when they're babies, but they just poop everywhere and don't even care. That's cats. They just don't care. Dogs are a whole different breed. But anyways, back to this. Yeah, cats are not really made out to be the way we were told. In movies, they consider black cats as bad luck. Something's gonna happen. Why black cats? Why can't they use cats that's multicolored? I've seen cats in my neighborhood that's like orange and gray and white. I seen a three-legged cat trying to get his mac on with other cats. Even though he has three legs, he still try to walk off cool. And then I see other cats that really don't care about other black cats. I wonder if these regular cats actually look at black cats also and say, "Nah, you're a bad luck type of cat. I ain't gonna hang out with you." Imagine that. And the cat gonna be all feeling left out. Oh, nobody's gonna play with me, cause you're black. You're bad luck. You're a black cat. Just like in the movie The Matrix, they used a black cat as a deja vu when Neo walked by and he saw the same cat. And then he said deja vu because there's a glitch in the Matrix. That's why. What else is there? There's just so many things that's so interesting on why they're of these superstition things. I like to learn more, about superstition in different other countries because I hear a lot of stories about it. But I think that's something that I will look into more and talk about more on my next continuation of my next video. But I'll move on. And the next one that also interested me when I was talking with my buddy is funerals. How often do people talk about funerals? Not often, right? Because it's a depressing thing, to lose a friend, to lose a loved one. But a lot of the people don't like to attend the funeral because they don't like to see the person how they look like in their casket. A buddy of mine had told me that he would rather remember the person that he knew, that he hung out with, that he loved, as when he was alive compared to as when they pass away. They do look different from how they look like when they were alive compared to when they're dead. They just look so different when they pass away. Like my grandfather, right? When he passed away, I saw his picture. He just looks so totally different compared to when he was alive. I guess we all go through that. Life has expiration date. You know, we will go someday. Where I'm not going to look like this one day. You're not going to look the way you look when you pass away. You know, I I think it's just the way the makeup was put on to make them look a little younger, because that's what I notice. They don't look old when they're in the casket, but they look old when they they are about to pass away. You know, when you see your grandparents, they look old, but then when you see them in the casket, it's like they're they look different. You know, and then for those of you, do you ever think about like how it's gonna be like, how his life is gonna be like without that person in your life? I mean, you know, I think we all think about that. I know for sure I think about that, and you know, we just find comfort when you talk to the person that you love, that and you talk to the person that you're with, because you know, I get this a lot too. Like even when the pandemic has started, I was told you should go and visit your family. You should go and see them. You know, because what if they're not here anymore? What if they're gone? You know, I prepare for these things because we're getting older too, and we have to prepare for this. Um, you know, during the pandemic, also, I've lost two friend. You know, it's just a year apart from them. I lost a good friend in 2020, and then I lost a coworker in just last year, 2021. You know, it's sad. It's sad because it just feels like it was yesterday you were talking with them, you were hanging out with them, and then all of a sudden they're gone, right? So, and then for me, I think I can handle you know, going to funerals and seeing the person that passed away, and then there are those who can't handle it, who just refuse to go to a funeral and see the person that they know, that they love, that way, you know, but they would rather just remember them when they were alive. And it's a good point. It is a very good point, because I didn't see it that way until, you know, a buddy of mine explained it to me. But yeah, I mean, wow, I mean, like these things are the things that I think about when you have conversations with friends, families, you know, with your spouse, with your kids. I A lot of ideas come to my mind. That's why I'm able to put it on my podcast. And it's exciting thing, you know, because you can share about it, because not a lot of people actually talk about it. How often when you hang out with your friends, how often do you talk about superstition, right? How often do you talk about funerals? Um, Same thing with people believing in UFOs, ghost and stuff. That yeah, I mean that's that's a good interesting topic also, because you know, when I'm home alone, and of course you guys are home alone also sometimes. Do you guys hear creaking sounds in your house because your house is old? Do you hear something walking downstairs when you know there's nobody here? And a lot of people pay attention to that. I don't. You know, if I hear something run across like the ceiling or in a bedroom when I'm downstairs or upstairs, I just think in my mind, that's just probably a squirrel running across the rooftop, or a raccoon. Wait, I don't think we have raccoons in this area. No, I don't think so. I know we have skunks, because sometimes you can smell when you're outside, like, oh, something stinks. I remember when I bring my son to school and my windows rolled down, you can smell the decay of the skunk that was hit by the vehicles, you know. And I wonder if these skunks ever come back as a ghost and then just haunt that area and stink up the road again. A lot of people believes in ghosts. A lot of people believes in UFOs uh, and all those extraterrestrial things. And then for my story, I mean, when I was young, and I've told this story to my parents, and they just told me I was, just dreaming about it. But to me, no, it wasn't a dream. It felt real because I literally stood up on my bed, and I saw like a little alien on top of my drawer, and I stared at it. I looked at it, and I knew what I actually saw, right? And after I would say a few seconds, I just went back to sleep. I just put my head down and put my head underneath a blanket, and I just went to sleep because that little alien that I saw, it pointed at me. So I guess it was probably telling me, go back to sleep, don't mind me, type of thing. And I did that. I went back to sleep, minding my own business. I don't know what that alien was doing in my room, but it was there for a reason. Probably checking out on some stuff. Creeped up on the wrong room. You were probably supposed to go to someone else's room, but happened to be in my room. And my window wasn't open. I mean, it was open, but we have a screen, so I don't know what it was doing there. But anyways, I went back to sleep. Next morning, it was gone. But when I did look at my drawer, because you know how drawers are dusty on the top, I did see the footprint on there. I did see that footprint. But evidently, back in the days, I did not have a cell phone. I didn't have a camera or anything like that for proof, you know. But I did tell my parents, and they just told me it was just my pigment of my imagination. I just dreamt about it, but nah. Until this day, I remember that vividly, very very well. And how many of you guys out there like actually believe in ET? And because we're seeing all these videos and pictures, and now it's getting more prevalent now because we have our phones that's available to us now, that we can take pictures, do videos and stuff, and then we're just seeing it online. I see a lot of it on TikTok. I see it on the news. I see it on YouTube, where people is capturing like these flying objects and all that stuff. Like, are these aliens coming on Earth to take a vacation from whatever they came from, wherever they came from? And then they buzz through, and then they buzz back out. Very very quickly. I mean, there are a lot of people who actually believes in that, and there are those that don't believe in it. For me, I don't know. I'm just neutral. I guess for me, sometimes I have to see it to believe it, and sometimes it it's not going to show up, right? Even if you say, oh, I got to see it to believe it, sometimes you don't need to see it to believe it. Just know that it's there, right? Just like ghost. Do you have scary ghosts and creepy ghosts and stuff like that in your house? You may not know that it's there, but you know it's there because you can feel it. I feel it too sometimes, that when I'm home alone, um, that you can hear them. I don't hear anything right now. I don't hear any creaking sound, but sometimes, from time to time, I do hear creaking sounds, even especially when you sleep at night. But that don't bother me. But if it bothers you, then yeah, I mean, a lot of people out there, it does bother them, and a lot of them just doesn't, right? So yeah, so before I bounce and end this podcast, this it's it's the things around you and the people around you that you talk to that that helps me create a topic, to come up with a topic to talk about on my podcast, and share it with you guys, because I know a lot of people have these experience, but nobody ever talks about it, not unless you bring it up or I bring it up. But if you have any topics that you want me to bring up because that interests you and get my attention also, hell, I'll cover it. I will cover it. So that does it for today's podcast. And yeah, until next time, I'll see you guys on my next video.